Okay, y'all, it's time. We may have actually gone a little past time, but today is the day. It's time to make some pickles. So hope you'll stick around and join me. Welcome or welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. I'm Jen, and on this channel you'll find simple approaches to homemaking and gardening. Today we're going to be canning some pickles. So we're going to start out making dill pickles. The way I make my dill pickles is, well, I have made them in spears, but I'm going to do the slices today just because in our inventory, in our canning inventory from last year, we have a lot of bread and butter pickles left and we have a lot of dill spears left. My kids, my family seem to like the cut or sliced pickles and the sliced dill pickles. So that's what we're out of. That's what we're gonna replenish first. But I feel like we're gonna have lots of cucumbers left over. So we'll probably move on to maybe pickle relish. That's something that I've never done before, so we'll learn that together. And then we may go ahead and make some bread and butter pickles because they are one of my special recipes, I guess. I have given the bread and butter pickles as Christmas gifts, and I have a lot of people ask for more. So that's kind of one that I feel like I'm comfortable enough with my own recipe, and we might just go ahead and do that one too if we have enough left over. But I'll make separate videos so that this one won't be, 2 hours long. But we are gonna can them today, and we're going to use a wide mouth pint size jar. I had to look on the box to make sure. I always get those sizes mixed up. But this is a pint size. I like these better, mainly for storing. I think they store a little bit better. I like the wide mouth because sometimes it's hard to get the wider, a lot of these cucumbers, unfortunately, this is the best size, I think. This is my favorite size when it comes to pickling cucumbers. So there's a few in here like this that I got off the vine in time, but a few of them I did not get off in time. So you can see this one is a little bit larger and it would just have a hard time fitting through your regular mouth jar. So that's typically why I like to do it. I guess everybody has their own preference. It's a little easier to get the regular mouth jar lids right now, it seems like. I've had a hard time finding the wide mouth jar lids. So if you have a surplus of those and you want to get rid of some, let me know because it is really hard to find them around here. But that's what we're going to use today. And we have, of course, our water bath canner. We will water bath can pickles. You can do that for pickles, relishes. They do not have to be pressure canned, so we use the water bath canner for that. I'm going to use Mrs. Wage's Kosher Dill Pickles pickle mix. And I'm going to tell you why. I actually used, in fact, I think it's in the back of this. I believe this is the one I used. I used the Kosher Dill Pickles on the back of the canning salt. Have you ever seen that episode of Andy Griffith called Kerosene Cucumbers? Well, my family will tell you that reminded them a lot of that episode, and we had to literally pour those jars of pickles out. It was so heartbreaking because you work really hard, doing all this and canning everything, but I thought they would have been delicious. I mean, we had the garlic, we had the dill, but something went wrong. I don't know. All I do know is that we did not attempt that recipe again, and the next year, I just gave myself a little grace and I got the mix of pickles and my family gobbled them down and my daughter said, please make them like that from now on. So that's why I do it. But you might have a really good dill pickle recipe and you might not need the mix, but if you want a little help in that area, and you still have to add your own vinegar to this, and well, that's about it. Your cucumbers, your vinegar, and water. So it does make it a lot easier. I don't do that with any of the other recipes, but this one, we're going to use this. And my family will thank me for it. Because we don't want kerosene cucumbers. They were terrible. And I give the pickles as gifts, at Christmas time. And that year, I remember that I had to do something else because there was no way I was going to gift that to my friends and family. They would definitely have not wanted them again the next year. I can assure you of that. First thing we're gonna do is give our pickles a good rinse, get all this garden dirt off of now that we have all our cucumbers washed, I think I want to weigh them just to kind of get an idea of how many pounds of cucumbers we have. Obviously the bowls, we'll just have to take off maybe a pound for the bowls. I'm going to use this little Weight Watcher scale that I have. This recipe calls for 9 to 11 pounds. I'm sure we have more than 9 to 11 pounds in this bowl, but let's just see. Oh, we have almost 10 pounds in this bowl. So that's 10. How many in this one? This one is 8 pounds. All right, so 10 and 8, that's 18. Do math on this channel too, how about that? All right, overload. Okay, so it's too many. $26, and then this one is 4.10. All right, so we'll just say 30 pounds. So we have 30 pounds of pickles right here according to our scale. So that means we can probably make 3 batches of pickles. So I think that's great. We'll have enough for dill, we'll probably have enough for bread and butter, and we'll have enough for relish. So that's perfect. All right, so I have about 11 pounds of washed pickles here. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the ends off. So I'm gonna cut the stem end and the flower end off of them, and then we will slice them in the size that we want. On the stove, I have my canner going. I'm gonna go ahead and get some hot water in that for the sterilization of our jars. Then we've got this saucepan of water that we're gonna get simmering just to get our jar lids in. And then back here is where we're gonna get our vinegar solution ready for pickles. And I already added some vinegar to that, my apologies, but the total amount of vinegar that you add is 3 1/3 cups. All right, and then we're going to add 7 1/3 cups of water. Next, we're going to add our package of Mrs. Wage's Kosher Dill Pickle Mix. And we're adding this to a non-aluminum pot. It says I'm using my ceramic cast iron Dutch oven. We're going to dissolve that over medium heat until it comes to a complete boil. So we were just supposed to bring our mixture to a boil, and we did. It is burning my nose. Something about heating up vinegar, woo! But we've got it heated to a boil, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove it from the heat. Okay, so we have our funnel, and we're going to put that over our jars, and then I'm just gonna ladle the mixture in and try not to make as much of a mess. Right, and we want to get that up to about a ½ an inch of headspace. So that is probably good right there. All right, let's just see what that looks like. And we did end up with 12 pint jars and 2 quart jars. And I still had a couple of cucumbers that I didn't use that we're just going to chop those up for dinner. going to stop right here and tell you that I noticed I was running out of liquid. So I went ahead and added 1 part vinegar to 2 parts water. So I did a cup of vinegar and 2 cups of water to the solution as it was getting thin. And then I'll just use that. That just makes a little bit more, and that will hopefully fill the rest of our jars. All right, all of our jars are full now. We're gonna go around and just wipe off the rims just to make sure there's no juice or anything on the rim that would prevent our lids from sealing. And we have our lids here ready for us to put on the jars. They've been, I've kept them in warm water. I let them simmer for just a few minutes, and then we've kept them warm while we've filled the jars. The water is not boiling over here in the canner, but it is quite warm. So hopefully when we sit these jars down in the water, it won't take too long for the water to get to a rolling boil. And then when that happens, we'll start our timer. Now for pint jars, it takes about 10 minutes to process, and then for our quart jars, about 15 minutes. So of course, we only have 2 quart jars, so I'll just do those last. But we will go ahead and attach our lids and get our first round going. And hopefully, fingers crossed, you know how this goes, all the jars will seal. We won't have any kind of accidents. So we've got this to a rolling boil now. We set our timer for 10 minutes, and we're gonna let that process for 10 minutes. All right, we're gonna finish getting this round out so the next one can go in. See the big mess I made? I told y'all it was messy. I wasn't lying. Hopefully they are all sealing. But if not, we'll have a lot of pickles to eat in the next week, I guess. Alright, so I'll get this one reloaded. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Sounds like we have a storm rolling in. The last 2 quarts are in the canner heating up to go. Daytime has turned into evening. So I'm going to try to wrap this up so I can hang out a little bit tonight with my family. But before I go, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I'm so glad you're on this journey with me. I hope that you all are enjoying these videos and that you'll consider subscribing so you don't miss out on what's to come. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.